Hello everybody, good night, good evening, good morning. Welcome to the second day of my Christmas Bonanza video series where I, Manganet, attempt to host Christmas dinner and all the other meals of Christmas as well. Welcome! If you haven't watched my previous episode of this, the first episode, which I recorded yesterday, then go and watch it because over there I talk about my to-do list and everything that I'm doing. Today we are powering through and we have two recipes to cook today from beginning to end. They are two Portuguese recipes and they are sweets, desserts, cake, you name it. We're gonna start with one of them, but then at some point we'll probably be doing both at the same time. I don't know. I've never done these all by myself, but we're gonna give it a go. I have both recipes written on my handy notepad, and one of these is like a French toast thing, and that's why I cut the bread yesterday. The second one is a recipe that is very dear to my heart. Ignore the washing machine behind me. It was something that I used to cook with my grandma ever since I was a kid. It was like my special Christmas recipe, was like my favorite thing from Christmas, and I always used to cook it with my grandma. And my grandma has sadly passed away this year, so I feel like I'm in a way kind of honoring the tradition, and I hope I make it justice and I hope it turns out well. And my idea is that every year I'll cook this all by myself as a remembrance of my grandma. And that's actually the one we're gonna start with. I already laid the ingredients on the counter, so let me show you what we need. I'll walk you through the recipes as well, just in case for some reason you get curious on how things taste and you want to try it by yourself, then you can. So let me tell you which ingredients this one takes. So for this one we're gonna need some brown sugar, plain flour, 1 kilogram of sweet potatoes, 2 oranges, 1 lemon, some butter, and this is not the drink that it's supposed to have, but I don't know what's the equivalent to this in the UK. I've tried googling and I didn't find out anything. You only need a little bit, you can even exclude it, but I'm gonna add some Bacardi coconut because, you know, maybe it's gonna give it a different kick. It's only a little bit, less than a cup shot. We're gonna do a dough and then we roll the dough out. We also create a filling. So we roll the dough out and then we scoop little scoops of filling onto the dough. We fold it, like not very big, you'll see later. And then we cut it. We deep fry that and we then pass it through sugar and cinnamon, and it's delicious and you only eat it at Christmas. The name of this is trutas in Portuguese, in case you are wondering. It depends on where in Portugal you're from. It has different names, as so most things in Portuguese. In my family we call it trutas, but I know some people call it azevias, and I think that's the most used name. And I also know that most people do it with chickpea. I've never tried it with chickpea. In my family and with my grandma we always did with sweet potatoes, so that's obviously what I'm doing. Let's get started. The first step is going to be peel all the sweet potatoes, and then we're going to chop them in pieces and boil them.
Christmas lights are all around. I can see them now.
Now, next step, I have the potatoes boiling. I'm gonna juice 2 oranges. You can either do it by hand. I'm gonna use a juicer that I bought on purpose for the cooking I'm doing this year. So just roll the oranges like this. This way it releases the juices inside. Cut them in half.
I'm not gonna play it safe. It's going down on Christmas Day.
Actually, I'm not gonna juice the second one straight away because one made quite a lot of juice, so we might not need more. For the dough, I'm gonna use a kitchen robot. Obviously you can mix it by hand, and obviously that's how my grandma used to do it, but I'm just gonna put all the ingredients here and set it to make a dough. He has a special setting for that, so we're gonna do that. It's literally just butter, flour, and orange juice, and a little bit of this, but I only have quantities of this and that. So the liquids, I guess we're gonna have to take it by eye. I'm gonna start by putting 375 grams of plain flour. And to this we're gonna add 100 grams of butter. I think I'm gonna microwave mine a little bit because it's quite stiff. I don't want it to be melted, I just want it to be softened. So this was like, I don't know, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, but it's more than enough, so in it goes. To this we add the orange juice and a little bit of the booze. Literally just a little bit. And now we're gonna beat it. So if you were doing beat this by hand, now you do this. So we're gonna let it do that for a little bit, and then we need to adjust the quantities of liquid if it's not forming a proper dough. So it needs to be a dough like a biscuit thing, right? Because you need to be able to roll it. It cannot be too dry, but it cannot be too wet. So let's roll it for a bit, and then if it's too wet, I'll add more orange juice or more booze. I'm just giving it some help mixing. I was cleaning the sides of the bowl, and it seems quite dry. I'm gonna turn it back on, but I'm gonna make some more orange juice because I think we're actually gonna need it. Alright, let's see how it's looking. Oh, I think we got it. It's not sticking to my hand, and it's able to be moldable. Yeah, I think we got it. So I'm gonna get this out of here and into a container, and I'm gonna watch this pot because we're gonna need it for more things.
It comes to say that Christmas is on its merry way, and for every single child.
It's camera angles. I don't know how people record these cool videos. Boiled drained potatoes. Again, you could do this next step by hand if you so wished. Then 200 grams of this, and the zest of 1 lemon.
Snow this winter is promised for this day.
Don't waste that. Get it all in. You just need to like mash it. So if you're doing it by hand, you can literally do it inside the pot, drain the potatoes, put them back in, and then use one of those masher things and here it is. It's completely mashed and it's soft. I've checked with the spatula to make sure there's no whole pieces of potato. The true test is tasting this. This is basically the filling of the little pastries we're going to make. So this needs to taste good because this is basically what you're eating. Let's see if this brings back the memories. Here's a close-up. It looks just like baby food. Cheers. That's it, my dudes. It's pretty good. It's not super sweet. I know we put in a lot of sugar. I have the feeling that I remember this being sweeter. So I could add more sugar, but this then it still gets involved in sugar after frying. So maybe that's what makes it, but it tastes good. Also, the sweet potatoes are different in here and in Portugal, so that might also be the difference. I think it tastes good. I'm gonna go with it like this. I don't like changing recipes the first time I try them because like I could adjust this now and make it sweeter, but imagine if that was a mistake. I would never know because I never followed the recipe like I was told. And this is my grandma's recipe. So if she says 200 grams of sugar, 200 grams it is. I'm gonna roll this out with flour. Need to put flour on the counter. When I'm working with flour, I know not everyone has this problem, but I hate when I have my hands dirty or sticky or greasy or whatever it is. I hate to touch the containers, so I like to put a little bit of flour in the bowl just in case I need to reach for more flour. I know that I don't need to touch anything except this single bowl. I'm gonna try and roll this without flour because it's not sticking at all. So let's see what happens. Like it might be a bit too firm. I don't know how to fix it at this point. What does it mean when a dough shrinks and breaks off easily? What is it missing? Is it fat? Does it need more butter? Put it back in and throw some butter on it. Oh my god! I don't think this is gonna work. Isn't there a rule about if you do this too much to a dough, it becomes tough? Now I'm thinking, maybe because I did it on the machine, I beat it too much, so this that I'm doing now is not gonna help. Maybe I should just do another dough. Maybe I should just try and do one with this butter. Now I remember my grandma saying it needed to be super thin, because I remember when I was doing it with her and me as a kid doing the thing, I remember I had a small rolling pin like this, wood. Yeah, it was wooden, just like hers. So hers was like this, I think a bit bigger, but I had a really tiny one. It was for kids. And I remember rolling it, and my grandma would be like, no, it needs to be thinner, it needs to be thinner. Always, like, regardless of how thin it was, it always needed thinner. Grandma, this one is for you. My grandma obviously had a little like pizza cutter, but tiny, and it was out of plastic, and it was orange, and it was what we used to do this. Of course I don't have that, so we're gonna have to use a knife. You grab a spoon of the filling, and you put it here in the corner, and then you fold like over, and you cover it, and then you press like around the filling. Then you go with the thingy. Now I don't have that, so let's see if a knife works. I always want to make sure they're properly closed, like this one wasn't. So pinch them together, because otherwise when you fry it, it opens. My grandma had this white cloth. I think it used to be like, I don't know, bed sheets or a table towel, or maybe it was just a cloth. It was huge. She would cover her dining table in the kitchen with that. And then we would both be doing this, and we would do them one after one after one. We would do the entire dough, the entire filling, and just put them on top of their white cloth. That throughout the years it started being stained by the grease, so you had yellow spots all over. And then we'd do the whole thing, and we'd fry them all at the end. Well, my grandma would fry. I would just watch and wait for the first one to come out. But here it is. And you know what? I'm just gonna use the dough like it is. Hopefully it will work. Now where I'm gonna put them, I don't know, I'm gonna put them on the stove, because then I'll fry them over here and I'll have them over there.
Let's go outside, the snow is falling down and every child is having so much fun. The snowman is twice the size as me, with a smile as quirky as mine.
Oh, I remember my grandma had a few that would like burst at the back. I remember she would grab like a piece of dough from like the corner and wet it, and then just like do a patch on it. And sometimes it would work, sometimes the patch would float away in the oil during frying.
Let me give you a Christmas, a moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents, as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. Ooh.
27 years later, I finished assembling them. They don't look great. Some of them have the little patches that I showed you, others have little shapes, others have little holes in them. I don't know, they don't look great. My grandma would definitely do a better job. But now let's move on to the next step, which is frying them. So I have my wok. I'm gonna put in there 1 liter of oil, or until it's full. In here, I'm gonna mix some brown sugar and cinnamon. So the idea is we boil the oil, then we pick them from here to the oil, fry onto the cinnamon and sugar mix, and then I have a nice plate here to put them in and serve them. And ideally we would have one of those things, like those spatulas with holes, to pick them up, but I don't. So I grabbed one of these and one of these, and hopefully something will work out for us. Let's go. I'm gonna save the bottle for when I'm done frying everything. I'll put the oil back inside the bottle, and then we can take to the oil recycling place where I need to Google where it is. But you shouldn't dispose of oil in the sink or in the toilet, because it doesn't mix with water. So keep the bottle if you're using large amounts of oil, even though probably everyone already knows this.
Go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire, 'cause all I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas, a moment we'll fill with love and joy. Loving so beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents, as long as I spend this day with you.
moving right along. It's 11 p.m. Let's go for the second and last recipe of the day, which is like the French toast. Okay, let's see the ingredients. This one, I hope it doesn't take as long to cook. So we need milk, that's 600 ml already measured. We need some more sugar and cinnamon, so I kept that one, but then I will add white sugar because that's what this recipe takes, but I will use that one to not waste. I left this here because I wasn't sure, but I'm not gonna need it after all. Some more cinnamon. This is the bread that I sliced yesterday, and I left it open, so it's still a bit soft, but much tougher than what it was yesterday, but ideally even tougher than this. Then we need 3 or 4 eggs. I'll probably use 4 because they're not that big. Lemon peel and 1 or 2 cinnamon stick. This one is quite big, so I'll use 1. That's it. We're gonna mix the milk and whatever, you'll see. For this, we're gonna use the big boy, they already washed. We're gonna start by adding roughly half of this milk. Maybe I could have used a small pan, but oh well, now it's done. Half of the milk, the lemon peel. So the best way to get lemon peel is with a peeler, obviously, and just slice it. And it comes right off with just the yellow part. Perfect, throw it in there. The recipe says 3, but more is more. So I think I'm gonna do like 5. That's 4. The important is that you know how many you put in, so then you know how many you need to take out. The cinnamon stick, I'm gonna turn this on straight away. So you just want to warm this up, and 3 tablespoons of sugar. 1 and 2 and 3. Add some more sugar in here as well. Right, so this needs to warm up for 10 minutes. While that is doing, I'm gonna move on to the next step, which is beating the eggs. I'm gonna do 3 for now, and then if I need more, I'll add another one. It's been 10 minutes, so now we remove the stick and the lemon. Great. Here we go again. So here's the plan. Hold on, let me bring you along. So here's the plan. The milk has cooled down. So we're gonna pour the milk on top of the bread. I already separated it so that the bread is in one single layer. I put this one on the side. So half of the milk here. Then from here we go to the egg, and then we fry. I need to warm up the oil again. And ignore, I know it has burned bits in there. I don't have a thing to drain the oil, so whatever. After it's fried, we put it on the sugar and cinnamon mix, and I put it here when it's ready. And that's it. So let's start.
I've been longing for this Christmas when everyone's around to share this holiday. Yes, it's a time of happiness, a time of joy, but now this year is twice as special, 'cause I'm hoping for us to fall in love in this winter wonderland.
We did it, we reached the end. My camera ran out of battery while I was frying the last few slices of bread, but I couldn't leave the things literally frying on the stovetop to go grab another battery, and then, you know, I just finished it. And I hate messes, so then I cleaned the entire kitchen. Look at this, it's like nothing is happening. I had to clean the stove like 3 times because of all the grease splatters. Cleaned the counters, did some dishes by hand, loaded the dishwasher, and it's now washing. Got the oil back in the bottle. I need to go look online to see where I can recycle that. And the most important part is that I have the sweeties here. So let's have a look. Initially, when I tried these ones, I wasn't very happy, and I thought it was not even that good, not similar to my grandma's ones at all, but also not even that good. But when I tried the first one, it was still lukewarm, and then once I was finished cleaning, I tried a cold one, and even though it doesn't taste as nicely as the one my grandmother used to make, I don't think I will ever crack the secret for that, even though the recipe that I have was hers. But you know, I don't think they're as good. They're definitely not as pretty. Most of them opened while I was frying them, so I guess I didn't pinch them enough. I don't know. But what was I saying? After I tried one, after they were cold, they are much better than the first one that I tried. So at least they are good. They are not great, amazing like the ones from my grandmother, but they are very good and I hope people like them. And then these ones, I haven't tried them. So this is like the French toast. And as time goes on, this sugar is supposed to start like melting and doing its magic on top of the things, and they start becoming gooey. I don't know. I'll keep you posted and I'll give you an update to let you know if that happened or not. But here it is. All this, it isn't that much, but it took me 5 hours to make these 3 small dishes of food, 2 desserts, 5 hours. I don't know how people do this. Portuguese people are absolutely crazy, thinking that they do this and like, I don't know, another 4 or 5 desserts, and they usually do it all in one day just before Christmas. I don't know, it's crazy. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back tomorrow for the continuation and for some more cooking, and I'll see you there. Bye!